All right. So welcome everyone. I'm Nisha Elsa Johnson and welcome to my session using Fab Academy to leverage your career. So I'm Nisha Elsa and telling more about me. So I graduated electrical engineering in the year 2015 and I got too much interested into the maker culture and the whole hands-on related part of Fab Academy and started my career into Fab Academy, beginning with the Fab Academy course and the Fab Academy X course. So that was for the pre-instructors as a small, short pre wrap up of the Fab Academy. So we were like the first test rats for Fab Academy X. And I did both of these courses in Kerala, in Fab Lab Trivandrum. And it was during the year 2016, and at the same year I also got an opportunity to become the technology innovation fellow for Kerala Startup Mission. So this is basically a government entity to foster the startup environment and the upcoming hardware enthusiastic hardware startup culture, and also the engineering colleges and school institutes, all of those parts. So the 2016, I was working a little bit with Kerala Startup Mission, and in the year 2015, I got married, got relocated to my birthplace, and had a baby. So it was all kind of my life as well as my work being merged together at that particular year. And I did a lot of freelancing at that particular time, because having a baby and having a full-time job is not an option at the beginning year for me. So after that, I got a full-time job in EduTech. So EduTech is a learning solution provider entity in the whole of Middle East. So currently I am in Dubai, UAE. And with EduTech, I have worked on several keynote projects like setting up maker spaces, library, fab labs, STEAM labs, training students, teachers, faculty members, all of that. So currently the journey continues. I just withdrew from EduTech and I was going to start working for a government entity for a library fab lab project, which got halted because of the COVID right now. So that's a lot about me, but the whole session is not about me, but about how to make Fab Academy and the experiences which you gain from Fab Labs to your career leverage. So as a session agenda, we will be learning a little bit about how we can, make lifelong learning aligned to our career and our other work-life balances, and how you can use, if you are planning to do a Fab Academy, probably that is because you want to do a career leverage, or you want to develop your own personal portfolio, or learn a skill which you want to use to develop something. So you will have an idea on what all are the ways we can use our Fab Academy to build a career. And I will be sharing a little bit about my past personal experiences with the different work projects which I was involved in during these 5 years of my career. And also I will be, at the end of the session, I will just showcase one of the basic career master plan which you can use, and try to reflect on yourself and build a master plan. So to begin with, I want to quote Alvin Toffler. So this is one of the famous quotes which I was introduced by the CEO of my past company. So the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. So it will be those who cannot learn, relearn, and unlearn. So the last particular line, if we want to keep progressing in our life, we have to learn certain things. We have to forget whatever we learned up the past, some skills, and relearn something new. So to begin with, once you have finished your particular graduation or undergraduation or graduation or any part of learning education background, you might think that your learning is over, or your learning is enough. Maybe you can start stepping to the next phase, move on to your career, etc. So, but let me tell you something from personal experience. Lifelong learning is quite necessary if you want to improve your career, if you want to go to a different track. if you want to take the path which is not taken by many people. So you have to adopt the right way of lifelong learning, which is to begin with recognizing or identifying your passion or your goal. It can be teaching, it can be product design, it can be giving back to the community, whatever be it. Identifying your passion and working out to successfully do that as your career goal makes a lot of differences. Then making a list, once you found out your passion, if you can make a list of what you need to learn or what you need to do to achieve your passion and make it your career, that would be very much helpful in your finding your lifelong learning situation. And then identifying what all resources you need. It can be Fab Academy, it can be a course for AI, or it can be a global MOOC course, anything else given by any other university. It can be anything. So identifying what is the resource you have and what is the extra thing you need to learn, or you need to identify the extra resources which you need. Then structuring your whole learning goal or structuring your idea or passion into making a reality with your life. So me being a mom, and I'm just trying to put in my life. So me being a mom and trying to identify how I can put my work-life balance together along with my goal, learning goal would be necessary if you're planning to keep on learning. And then finally trying to make a commitment. So for anything in your life, if you want to achieve that particular thing, you need to have a commitment. You need to put your mind, you need to be persistent enough to commit and finish that particular task instead of letting go of it at a particular point. So next, so if you want to do something which is maker related, if you want to do something which is hardware or tech skill which require future skills, I would say Fab Academy is one of the greatest platform to begin with. And selecting it over a distance learning course has its own advantages. So yeah, you can learn about CNC machines and all, even in LinkedIn Learning. But what makes Fab Academy stand out is its distributed learning model. That is, you have your Fab Lab mentors, instructors, you have your peer group, you have other Fab Labs which exchange their knowledge during this 6-month period of your Fab Academy. And it is not just about learning whatever new skill every week. So if you have gone to the Fab Academy website, you can have a better detail about all the per week contents or skills being learned. And it is not just about learning those 20 or 20 plus technology skills. It is also about doing it with your hands, making them into reality, and then sharing it. So sharing it in the beginning of the week itself, the first weekly assignment is project management and building a website for your whole skills. So this is my particular website. I still use this particular website of mine whenever I am going to a different client or whenever I'm approaching for a different project. So it's like showcasing my own skill. Every week I have done something, I have done a final project. So it's also exhibiting my project management skills. It will be exhibiting your project management skills and how you have progressed throughout each week assignment or the skill set. So it also helps you to document, share your knowledge, and help other people around the globe to find your document and help them to get unstuck from any current situation which they have. So what's next? So probably a few people might have finished Fab Academy, might have been just graduated and then did their Fab Academy course, or maybe you're already in a career level and took Fab Academy course to explore their opportunity on what they can do differently in their career. So we all have that question, what happens next? So for me, I did my Fab Academy soon after my graduation, and I was quite a bit overwhelmed, like what should I do? What should I do soon after my graduation, after my Fab Academy graduation? So I was already incubated with my Kerala Startup Mission as a Technology Innovation Fellow. It gave a lot of insight for me. That network, both of Fab Academy as well as the Startup Mission, gave me a lot of insights. So based on my private personal experience, I have listed out what all you can do after you finish your Fab Academy goes. So one of them is it's a way which even Neil has told, converting your project into a product. So the final project whichever you have developed, when you want, if you want to convert it into a product, there are a lot of certain steps which you need to do, like coming back into your product, finding making the minimum viable product, things like that. So I have felt like there are a lot of students, Fab Academy students, who do this, who take the road less traveled, because even when they want to build a product, it is not the same. Not everybody has taken this path. So it is a road less traveled, and it's basically because you have an idea, you will define it, you will test it, you will build a prototype, design and build a prototype during your Fab Academy time. And after that, there is even other processes to follow. If you feel like your Fab Academy project is fit enough for selling as a product, identifying the groups which will be using your product, things like that, then you can go through your invention cycle yet again and try to make it fit enough for mass manufacturing and brand it, find a co-founder, find an investor, make it, and then try to sell it through the marketing techniques, all those things. So one of the tracks which is quite obvious is trying to turn your project into a product. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of investment, both as your commitment and your time, and maybe if you are funding it also financially. So this is a track which should not be done like quite fast. It takes a lot of iterative steps to make your product a finished product. But believe me or not, having something as a product of your own is quite a great achievement itself. So this is one of the projects which turned into product. So it's by Guillaume Tesse. So it's an aqua pioneer. So it's like a water fish and aquaponics culture. So you can, it began as a self-sustaining, to build a self-sustaining ecosystem at home. So it's like a small farm which you can build. On top of it, you have also a fish culture to help you with the nutrients and all those things. So this particular project began as a Fab Academy project, and it also iterated a lot before hitting the market as a product. You can get more information about similar projects which turned into products if you go on to Fab Academy and see the different projects which has come forward. So the second track is basically use your skill to do something else. So what I learned basically with Fab Academy is 20 tech-based skills at least, like from computer control designing to machining, machine design, electronics, embedded programming. So there are a lot of different tracks which you learn every week, and you might not learn all the skills at once. It is something which you have to keep improving and keep learning. And then the soft skills which I felt like you will be learning is time management, being commitment, being persistent to finish your projects on time, and then being a lot of flexible and understanding how you can weigh your work-life balance, as well as including study into it. So one of the time management techniques which I still use is, which was taught by Francisco, was trying to allocate different time slots for different projects which you are doing. For example, you have 3 tasks to do and you have 3 hours in your hand, allocating 1 hour each for each task. And once the first task, if it is not, even though it's not completed in 1 hour time, go to the next task, go to the second task, do that, go to the third task, do that, and then come back to do your whatever pending work is there for your tasks. So this helps you to go on track and help you to get unstuck. Instead of getting stuck to one particular task, it will help you to allocate time to finish all your tasks, or at least try to finish maximum of each of your tasks. So this kind of helped me a lot, even in my personal life and in my work life. So another one thing which I felt like what I learned through Fab Academy is that it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning where you just start learning about each of these skills. You will not become a fully 3D, a person who will be able to become a master 3D designer, but you will learn enough techniques to create your particular product. And then if you want to go into a particular career, you will have to come back to that skill set which requires it and improve your skill set. Keep learning, keep learning. So that's what I felt like is quite important in being with Fab Academy. So the second track on which you can basically use Fab Academy to your leverage is using the skills which you learn to create service. The service can be building a project or a product for your customer, which is, I have one example in my hand. So this is Vanessa Sinoflo. So she is the co-founder for iFurniture. It is a furniture manufacturing business in Latin America. So they basically, what they do is they build projects and furnitures, interior design works and all for their customers based on their requirements. So her whole team, basically, her idea itself to build a company based on digital CNC machining and woodworking has emerged from her passion for wood, her project in Fab Academy, and so on. So building a service-based company can be one of your tracks, or using your skills as sharing knowledge. So that is like being an educator or creating workshops similar to what Fab Lab Kids has done. Okay. So let me just share this. Present. Okay. So this is basically one of the workshops hosted by Fab Lab Kids. So they also have a lot of presence in Fab Labs around the world. They are helping Fab Labs in Middle East and so on. So this is basically using your skill, which is instruction, being able to do instruction, being able to design for education, for STEM education and all those. So onto the right is basically an exhibition stand which was designed by me for KidCom, which is hosted by EduTech, my previous company. So it is all about being able to transform yourself whenever a different set of passion or a set of goal comes in front of you also. So you might not learn about STEAM education in Fab Academy, but Fab Academy can definitely be a point where you start thinking about, should I invest my career or should I leverage my career into STEAM education or teaching in particular. Okay, so next set of track is basically being able to manage Fab Labs, Makerspace, school STEAM labs, labs in other education institutes like universities or anything else. So over here we have Pradanya itself. So she has been also with the university, right? Yes. Okay. So, okay. So you have like at least 1,500 Fab Labs. Some of them take Fab Academy because they're already a part of the Fab Lab team. I mean, the Fab Lab team of their particular community, and they want to take up instruction for Fab Academy. So at that point of time, probably taking a Fab Academy course would be leveraged for them to become an instructor for Fab Academy. And then there is also for managing your Fab Lab to become an operation manager for your Fab Lab or your STEAM labs around the world. This is basically a Fab Lab map, which you can see in fablabs.io. So you can see all the labs around the world, all the Fab Labs around the world, and also I believe Fab schools around the world, which have all these digital fabrication machines, which is being taught by Fab Academy as well. So the best thing what I felt about Fab Academy is having a network. So having a network in a different Fab Lab in a different part of the world, and being able to work with them or collaborate with them to create different projects for them, and also try to use that into your career advantage. So this fablabs.io only gives you the Fab Lab list, and apart from Fab Labs, there is also a huge community for maker spaces. There is most of the public schools or the private schools, many of them have now STEAM labs or robotic labs within themselves. So it is something which, if you want to become an educator in K-12 solution field, then maybe you can look into having STEAM, going into STEAM labs, or trying to set up a STEAM lab for a school or an education institute. So these kind of things. And also another one thing is, okay, apart from the university schools, there are also maker spaces and fab labs which are hosted in public spaces like libraries. The libraries or a park or community ground, some things like that. So all these places require instructors. They require people to create some new programs for them. They need instructional designers for all these places. So if education and if teaching is your passion, then the best way basically would be to be in the instruction field for these labs. So I want to tell about the fourth track, which is finding an opportunity that was never there in the first place. So believe it or not, even being part of EduTech was not an opportunity which was there in the first place for me. So it is something which opened because I did knock doors, and I had a particular skill sets which they would be able to use for the leverage. And if you probably you might not see all these new technology skills as career or job offers in the networking field, like in the career portals like Indeed or Job Monster, anything like that. But if you have a proper network, or if you are able to influence people in the government, or let it be in a community space, or let it be any other entity, so you can either work as a freelancer or work for creating a particular program for that entity. So this is one of the projects which I have done as a freelancer. So basically in the year 2016, Fab Lab in UAE was a new lab initiative. So I had an opportunity to discuss about creating workshops for the lab, and have created a set of workshops as well for the Fab Lab. So this is like one of the opportunity. Like if you have a university or a school who wants to introduce new technology into the environment or into their students, then you can basically go ahead and pitch um, and try to use your skills to your leverage for training these students or the entities. And then another one thing is basically designing competitions, designing tech-based events, things like that. So this is basically the first project which I did with EduTech. So this was a CSR initiative. So big companies, for example, like Google, or even HCL, all those big companies would have CSR initiatives with them. So using that CSR initiative for a good cause. So like, for example, here this was an aluminum manufacturing company, and they wanted their students to basically learn about aluminum. They want to the students to learn that aluminum was something which was quite used in most of the part of our life, like buildings, construction buildings, to packaging, to transportation, to everywhere. So they wanted us to create a program for their Agenda CSR initiative for students. And we came up with an outreach program and an aluminum design challenge, where a group of students, along with their mentor, needs to build projects in a limited time frame with the prototyping kit which we designed and gave, into any of the four tracks. Like that is the building, architecture marvels, and then we have packaging, and then we have futuristic transportation, and also kinetic art. So these were the four tracks which we gave to the students, and they came up with really amazing projects. Maybe they did not use a digital fabrication tool, but they tried to use a material. They learned the material properties, and they tried to manufacture by hand different projects. So these were a few of the best designs. So on the left, the first image, what you can see is like an Expo 2020 pavilion, which the kids designed for their architectural project. So it's based on the kinetic movement, that is with the light, sunlight, the uh, the shelter basically makes shadow of Expo 2020 logo. So this was one of the best projects which we received, and we could basically assist students, and we just understood that students could basically do more than what we expect them to do at their particular age. And it's high time that they do learn something extra from their book, apart from their book, and they also get an exposure into digital fabrication and making as such things. So it's high time that we also include instructional based digital fabrication lessons into their lesson structure. So similarly, onto the right side, the right side, you can see another project which was developed as a packaging. So it's packaging medicine and provide. It's like a aluminum shell to package medicine and send to people who are in remote locations who are suffering, like refugees or suffering from a natural disaster. So these were like some of the best projects which came out from just a design challenge. So this was also a CSR initiative for a particular organization. So this is something which you can do on your own if you have a portfolio which is strong enough, and if you have a bit of expertise to create something out of nowhere. So the whole design itself was just an idea. Okay, we need to use aluminum in our design, and it should be for a student of this age group. And then developing that, going through that design thinking process to develop the whole timeline of your competition. So this is something where you create a project. A project need not be a product, it can be a service, or it can be a competition. It can be anything literally. So, and currently I'm just in the time where due to the COVID, we are hit by all these stay at home, work at home situations. And this is the time when we become flexible. We think, what can we do with the career we have built so far? So there are maker spaces around, there are fab labs around, they may not be open, but how can we basically, as a person or individual, keep continuing what we are doing? So the best thing about the whole point of the best thing about COVID is that what happened to me is that it connects people around the world, literally. It is not like any other calamity. The people all around the world has come together for sharing knowledge, sharing expertise, and even sharing PPE kits and required necessities, things like that. And it's a great initiative on how current maker spaces, or the current fab labs, how they have put forward their own input and their own expertise to develop PPE kits and all the face shields and everything else to for the health workers. So similarly, if I am in an education field, so what I basically did to transition at this point of time was create virtual tech camps. And I have students from around the globe, and I have sessions allocated for them to learn about creative computing, 3D modeling, basics of AI, graphic designing. So it's basically a customized package which the student can avail depending on what is the technical skill they want to achieve. And it's also about being empathetic to the student, or being empathetic to your program itself. So you can just share your service, but having an empathy and looking forward to what a student needs is what basically makes you different in this current virtual environment. So this was what I have been doing to develop, to change my career during this work at home scenario. And it is also something which you learn from Fab Academy, which I learned from Fab Academy. So that is to be flexible, to understand, to change if a change happens, and it's reality. If the change happens around us, we should be willing to change accordingly. So mind mapping your career. So this is something which you can basically do. You did a little bit of self reflection while you were doing while you were selecting Fab Academy or a lifelong learning course. So similarly, this applies even to your career. So that is mind mapping your career. So I have basically made a very basic career mind mapping, a career planning mind map. So I'm not a career planning specialist, but based on my priorities, these were the ones which I felt like should be added into my mind map. It can change accordingly for different person also. So beginning from the top side, I need to identify which my current skills are. So it can be, okay, for me with the Fab Academy, I was good with digital design, I was good with machining, and I was good with programming. So these kind of things, it can, even before Fab Academy, if I was good at robotics, for example, during my engineering or my graduation time, I did learn certain skills, add those as your current skills. And then going to the education. So education is not only about your graduation or what you learned in it's not about what you learned in during your graduation. It's about how you can apply or what you need for your career in future. Your career can be totally different from what you learned in your university. So for me, my education link was I needed to learn more about the STEM techniques used today, the STEM solutions used in K-12 schools today. So during my career, throughout my career, I did learn about different products used, why different products were used, or which is the best best solution to provide to education schools. So these were my points of learning. And then comes interest. So what is your interest? What is your passion? You need to make a note on yourself on what gives you pleasure when when you try to do it. So what gives you happiness if you choose it as your career. And then comes your sentiments, that you like, whether you like something or whether you dislike something. So for example, I like to give I like training, but maybe I don't like much of documentation, but I love documentation also. So whatever I don't like and I like, so that sentiment towards your passion. Even in your passion, you will have things which you like or you don't like. So fine tuning your passion is what sentiment is for. And then your goals. So goals can be professional and personal. So maybe for me, my personal was to relocate into a better place, or to take care of my child's needs, things like that. And professional is to probably to develop further in your career goal or to do a career change. So even that can be your professional goal which you can set, and these can be changing also according to maybe in your next 5 year. You will, when you come back to your mind map, you will see that you might have transitioned to an entirely different set of pathways as well. So then comes responsibilities. So responsibilities can be your financial responsibilities and also your personal responsibilities, things like that, like what you need to take care of, what are the minimum requirements to keep yourself afloat. And then comes your network. So network is something which Fab Academy gives you a lot. Make use of it. Every time when you are signed up as a Fab Academy student, you are linked up with your instructors, your remote instructors, your fellow peer Fab Academy students, and a whole load network of Fab Academy Fab Labs. Then you have your needs. So what are your needs? What do you expect your career to grow up as? So all these, if you could basically try to if you could basically try to sketch this in not in a 5 minute or a 10 minute, it should take a lot of reflection from your side. It should have a lot of thought process being put forward. It should have a lot of thinking more than you should be required when you're trying to mind map. So this is something which worked for me as well. And thank you for attending my session, and let me know if you have any questions.
Nisha, hi. So I have one question like in virtual training program, how you target your audience or how you reach out them like by Facebook or in
Yeah, so currently I'm on a process on, so I have a lot of network of parents, and then there is some particular, for each country, there would be some platform where you can host your programs. For example, in UAE, there is Skilldeer, then there is some another platform called Group Edo. and it keeps changing. And even in India, there would be, if you could search where you can host your platform, your program, and if it's not there, build one yourself. You identified a low point where there is nothing to showcase your online platform, online training lessons. Then build one. Just build a website, and that would be enough to go ahead. And then making use of your network, that is not just Fab Academy, also like LinkedIn and your Facebook or groups, which you can have a connection with parents or your target group. It can be facilitators, or it can be to trainers, teachers, or it can be even parents. So having a group contact be it in LinkedIn or be it in Facebook would be helping a lot as well. Yeah. And yeah, so this is basically, I have also linked in my website, so you can go and see how I have used my profile to exhibit all my past experiences and things like that. It can be a great platform for you to tell or showcase your profile. And then also it's great to build your own website where you showcase your portfolio, and if you want to share to your parent, rather than just calling them up and telling all these stories about you, just sharing a QR code to your website or sharing a web link to your website helps a lot. Great.
Thank you. Any other question from participants?
I think it's a no. So I also felt like identifying the stakeholders. For example, if you're working in an education sector, and if you want to focus on universities, having a list of stakeholders, it can be a teacher or it can be a university professor or a department head, trying to network with them. So networking kind of always helped me with trying to identify or trying to open up doors which was never there before in the first place.
Okay, one more question from yours.
Yeah.
So how the reaction or how the feedback from the student with this new technologies or new design? Is it friendly, or they feel shy, or they feel nervous?
Yeah. So one of the things which obviously is lacking in a virtual training session is that you are not in presence. You're not directly in the same room as a student. So what basically happens is that there are times where your student can drift off. There are times where students can lose their focus, and especially if it is a class more than 5, this happens quite a lot of time. And trying to bring them back, like Zoom, for example, has functions like being able to sketch, being able to share another person's screen, trying to remotely control a person's screen. So all these things are like helpful for students to engage with us. So whenever we started training session, instead of seeing a black screen, if they are visible personally, like to face to face, and if they are able to share the screen and show their progress, it has been helping much more for me. And the students, basically what I got from them are like, they are very interested, they are very happy, and I don't admit students who are not interested in taking the session. And it is simply because if it is not your passion, or if it is not something you don't love it, you will not automatically, you will not be attentive for the session. You won't have that interest. So if a parent is, for example, forcing, okay, I want we in Indian community, this is a lot, it is seen a lot. Most of the students either select engineering or they go directly to be a doctor. If there is not much of that career growth, or there is not but a variety of career which you can choose, and this is because parents you do force. As a parent myself, I try not to do that. And if I get a parent who says, okay, I want my child to do all these things, so after a trial session, after assessing the student, her or his interest level, I make a choice. Okay, if you don't want to take this, take what you like. Do you like painting? Then maybe you can go opt for 3D modeling or a graphic design course. So do you like coding? Then you can opt for AI course or a creative computing course. So this is like kind of giving them option, makes them makes them feel like, okay, they are powerful to make changes in their session according to their interest skills. So that has been quite helpful for me. it is always about getting feedback from your customer or client, whoever it is, even though it is a 5-year-old child or it is a, a professor in a big university. So go after the session, think and reflect a lot about yourself, what you want to do, what you want to be, what is your interest, what is your passion, what are your limitations. Nobody talks about limitation. Like for me, my limitation would be suddenly, stopping everything from here and doing the travel. I was a hippie travel, and I was someone who used to travel to every nook and corner and conduct sessions in every Fab Labs if got a chance. So it's not possible for me now. I need to schedule things. I need to make sure everything is balanced. So all those identifying your limitations as well as your what are the best things, what are the best strength you have, helps you a lot if you are planning to transition your career or if you're planning to change everything into a different way.
Thank you. And this is last call. Yeah. If participant have any question, please go ahead, type in the chat or unmute yourself and ask her directly. Someone is unmuted. Ahmed said, do you want to ask anything?
He's trying to connect to audio, it seems.
Yeah, if you are not able to like connect with the audio, you can type in chat. Okay, I guess you described really very really good and understandable. So yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for attending my session. You can always get in touch with me through LinkedIn, and I'm always available in my particular LinkedIn website, which I've shared in. And it is all about having empathy to yourself, to your customer, your client, or your student, or whoever you're gonna consider as your client. I think we have a chat question as well. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Dibjot, everybody. Thank you so much for attending my session.
Deep Jyoti Kumar, you will get this session recorded after the conference, like by the next week online from the YouTube channel of
Yes.
Fab Academy.
Yes. Okay.
Someone is in chat. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a thank you and all. Thanks a lot. Yeah. All right.
Nisha, there
Yeah.
is one message in chat like from the Deep Jyoti Kumar, like he's from Assam and we are sparking up the maker movement here in the North. Okay,
Okay.
Deep Jyoti Kumar, do you have any question? You can directly talk with the Nisha.
Okay.
Or you can
So
contact her. Yeah.
advice. So basically, advice for sparking up the maker moment. So you need to identify again the age groups which you want to target and split it up into like 3 or 4. For example, 10-year-old to the 10-year-old will have a different learnability compared to your 18-year-old. And also you need to divide your what all other services you're providing. Are you providing education? Are you providing consultation for developing makeup projects or prototypes? So these are the things which you need to identify at first. And if you're planning to do education, or if you're planning to train your maker community or your community in ASA, so it's better to do it in 3 or 4 age categories. So that is like 10 to 15, probably 15 to 18 or 20, and then for the adult group. This will basically help to segregate between the learnability of students, and then provide required content. For example, a 10-year-old student will not understand what Fusion 360 is, but they will be able to grasp 3D modeling using Tinkercad environment, another 3D software which is smaller, which is easier. So similarly, if it is product prototyping, it's better to have a proper space and all those things, and have proper digital fabrication tools required for your maker community, and listen to your client or listen to your students. And right now I felt like having something like a subscription based project prototypes or kits have a lot of influence. If you have a maker community already, and if they can't come to your lab or some space, then why don't you why not send some projects or prototype things to build to their community, and in that way try to establish a contact between between your client and your space. Things like that you can do. Okay, so that's my key input for your question.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Nisha, for this
Yes.
wonderful workshop, and thank you all participants for joining it. Hope to see you
Thank you all. Thank you, Pradanya, to hosting. Yeah, we can end the
Thank you so
session.
much. Yeah, bye.
Yeah.